Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be going over round 5 of the Næstved Open. Um, I will be going over the first few moves here like this. The rest of the time it will be from the footage of the actual tournament. But I can't do that for the first few moves because OBS crashed and the bot wasn't long enough for Twitch to save it. So, start out with me playing black, and it starts out with e4, e5, very common, very normal. Knight f3, knight c6, c3, and f5. This is what wasn't caught. This is the Punch-and counter gambit. It's an opening I love heavily. What you usually do is you just take this pawn, you allow this, you play knight here, and now it's kind of a decision what I want to do. I don't like allowing queen here, so I always just play knight here. And after d3, I would play d5, d takes e, and then we just get into a position. I've seen many people blunder this position, but after going here, they do this, they take, and then they play bishop here, and now I just have a completely winning position. There's actually a line here that's super beautiful, where I get a massive attack over here. So let's say they go bishop here, I go takes, they castle, I go bishop here, and they play f3. Here I can play knight h5, which is the best move, inviting in this fork because I get some very strong attack. But I would go for knight g4, f takes g4, and queen here. Now this is beautiful, but it's not exactly what the computer likes. The computer here likes knight h5. If they go for this, now you sacrifice the bishop. After king takes, you go queen h4, queen here, and you swing the knight to f4, and you're just gonna mate him. This is a very common idea in the Ponzian counter gambit, and it's also just a very fun position to play for. And here she responds with queen b3, which loses a pawn, and now I will switch it over to the footage from the tournament. This is recording over here. She plays queen b3, which is a blunder here because I win a pawn after f takes e4, which is an easy move to find. I mean, it's kind of one of the reasons why you play f5 in the opening. The counter gambit is very fun to play. Like, I capture back, I readjust the pawn because I moved it a little bit, and I didn't like the new position, and now the knight has to go back to g1, because if it moves forward, it gets captured immediately with no counterplay. And she moves the knight. But she doesn't let go, so the move isn't finalized. And she moves it back to d1, let's go, and presses on the clock. The best move, because every other move would just lose the knight. I play knight to f6, just developing the knight. I want to play d5. Apparently I should have played bishop c5 or d5, just playing for that central control, setting up a sacrifice on f7. Here I readjust the webcam, so it's not showing as much of the people in the background. She plays knight h3 and I play d5. Apparently bishop c5 was the best move here, because the f7 pawn is extremely weak, and I don't have to respond d5 right away. I can wait until the knight is placed on g4 before I play d5, using the scope of the queen by blocking it and preparing to play h6. But I played d5 right away because I felt comfortable with it. And I wanted to take the h3 knight But I should, before I do it, she plays knight g5, and sure, it looks comfortable, but you don't really have a reason to go there. But you know, it's not the worst move, and I just respond h6, and now the knight has to go back to h3, and I should finalize my development with bishop c5, because either she lets the knight stay, or she goes back to g1, which just wouldn't make sense. She would have gone knight g1 3 times when she started the match, when I played f takes c4, and then of course after bishop c5. So I should just realize that and just said bishop c5 right away. I don't need to take knight. But we'll see pretty soon what I finally decided to go with. Of course, knight h3 here is the best move, because every other move loses a knight. Except queen takes any pawn, because that loses a queen instead. So she plays knight h3. I sure just rested and waited. Actually looked at my position and realized bishop c5 is just very good. I don't need to rush. I have a perfectly comfortable position. I honestly just want a castle and start the attack, because she can't castle that quickly. But I play bishop takes h3, and instead I should have gone bishop c5. Now there's a line very soon after she of course takes back on h3, because otherwise you're just losing a full knight. Like if you take on b7 right away, then I play bishop to d7, saving the bishop, protected the knight. The rook is defended by the queen, so you can't do it right away. You have to take the bishop. And she does. She takes the bishop and readjust the pawns a little bit. If I just thought about it, I can play queen to d7, attacking the new h3 pawn, and after queen takes b7, I play rook b8, attacking the queen and just getting a very comfortable position. But I respond with bishop c5, which isn't that good, because now her position gets very simple. She just plays queen takes b7, and now I have a choice to make. Do I move the knight back? Do I defend the knight? Do I try to trap the queen in some way? And I never really had a comfortable answer. I was looking at castles as an idea to sacrifice an f7. I was looking at it, taking f7 right away, but it doesn't work, because after I take on f7, the king takes. I check with the knight. He takes my knight. I check with the queen. The king goes to a light square. I take it. The king goes down to e1 again. I check the king again, and then he just goes to d1, and I have no attack. So ultimately my idea didn't work, and I just played knight to e7, which was the best move. Now apparently she should play b4, bishop b6, bishop b5 check, and king to f7, which is gangster. And the queen looks borderline trapped, in my opinion. It doesn't look comfortable. And I'm just gonna play rook f8 and then just king g8. And there's nothing really for white to go for there. It's just very comfortable for me. And it honestly doesn't scare me that much. It looks like a position I would be very happy in. She creates queen b5 check, and I respond with knight d7 immediately. Beautiful for me, by the way. Just defending the bishop, blocking the check, preparing castles. Like, I really should just castle here. I was thinking of taking on f7, but I didn't see a way for it to work. So I should just castle and be fine. I have rook b8 ideas, I have bishop takes f7 ideas, the king is very open, and meanwhile my king would be very safe. I can possibly sack a bishop, and yeah, it would get very comfortable very quickly, and there wouldn't really be anything for white to play for. But also, I'm taking today very calm because I think it would just make for a more enjoyable experience personally, but I can also be high energy when I need to. But there's no real reason to be high energy here. It's a very calm game. There's nothing really going on. Of course, I have some attacks, some bishop takes f7 once again, but truly none of it gets to work. I think I personally came up with a smart idea here with bishop e2. I thought about bishop takes f7 and castling, which of course looks good, but after king to e1, I don't have a threat. My knight doesn't get in, my queen doesn't get in. I just get a comfortable position, but I was just overthinking it because after all of it, he just goes king d1. So it doesn't work. Bishop takes f7 doesn't work, so I thought of castling. But honestly, I couldn't find a way, so I came over with knight to g6. If bishop h5, I take on f7. King moves out behind the bishop. I castle, and he takes. If she takes the free knight, I play queen f6. If she then takes the other knight, I play bishop check. The king has to move. Wherever the king would move, it would be checkmate. But ultimately, knight g6 is a mistake because of the move d4, and I don't finalize anything. I'd rather go e takes on d3, queen takes on d3, queen f6, and now queen takes d5, and bishop takes f7 check, and of course king d1, and we're both happy. White has gotten most of the pressure away, and neither of us would be in danger. And here she castles, which is a mistake, but not for the reason I play it. I play a huge miss. I should have attacked the queen and kicked the queen out somewhere before going for this idea I had in mind. And I never realized how bad this was. I thought I was just completely winning, but I overlooked one thing. I overlooked one thing in my calculation, which just lost me the game. Like, truly, it lost me the game. I make a big blunder very soon. That d7 knight is very weak. I never realized it. Bishop g4. And I play a massive blunder here the next move. I should play rook to d8, allowing her to win my bishop, but I play knight f4. A huge blunder because I give away the d7 knight for free. Completely free. Because it's defended by the bishop. And I would have to go king to f8. And now I suddenly can't bring a rook into the attack. Of course, did she play d3? Which saves me. It saves me. Completely saves me. I should have not survived there. She should just calm down her nerves. Realize that I just hung a knight. But she plays d3 because she sees this pin. And that pin does look very appetizing, but knight takes h3 is check. I remove the defense of the bishop. And after king h1 or king g2, I just take the bishop. If you go king g2, you just get mated instantly, so king h1 is really the only move you need to think about. But I take the bishop after king h1, and suddenly I'm pumped up. I'm just completely winning, because I know I'm completely winning. Now, one of the best moves is to take this knight, play queen b8 check, or knight d2, because all of them are mates in 4. I was very disappointed in myself when I came home and saw the computer immediately say blunder, and also me immediately realizing why. But I'm always threatening these checkmate ideas. I'm threatening queen f3 mate. I'm threatening bishop takes f2. I'm threatening knight takes f2. I'm threatening so much. And there is no way to stop mate. But it's not necessarily unwinnable. I can still blunder massively by playing queen to g8, g1. Massive blunder, but I wouldn't make a blunder like that. Here, open up to see more lines to see if I was correct in what I was thinking. But yeah, f3 or f4 are both mate in 3 from the e pawn taking, and you have to sacrifice the queen. And I got very comfortable here. I was just thinking, alright, I'm threatening mate that way, I'm threatening mate this way, maybe that way. But there's a line here with a rook d8 instead of knight f4. If I play rook d8, we get a very comfortable line, a very beautiful line where we end up in this position. But first I forgot how to get over to it, so I was looking around in the notes. d4, knight there, bishop takes. That was all correct, it's just I didn't understand it. And she plays f3, so I had to quickly jump back to position. She plays f3, and I of course go e takes f3, and now I'm threatening mate in 1. But now this move. After this, there's knight here, pawn here. Pawn takes bishop, takes, rook takes, knight here. I was looking at pawn here, but I was wrong. Just queen here, king here, and you play pawn here. And after rook here, you sacrifice the rook for a brilliant move. And you checkmate on h4. Now there's another beautiful, fun line here. Instead of taking on the f square in that variation, you don't play f3, you play king e7, queen check, king e6, queen takes pawn check, king takes queen, pawn check, king goes back, and you cannot stop checkmate. It's a very fun line, like a really fun line, because you just move the king up, move the king up, move the king further up in a position where it looks like you shouldn't be able to do it, but you can just walk up and be very comfortable because you're gonna checkmate. She's probably spent the time here thinking about how she could possibly escape. She didn't find one, because you can't. It's mate in 2. From a queen check, specifically. I thought maybe you had to play d4 instead of d3 to stop the checkmate. But no, after the queen goes back, I would take it with an attack on the rook, and you just lose, because if you move the rook, you get checkmated on f2. If you don't move the rook, you get checkmated on the rook. So sorry, I'm just fiddling with my tie. Here I was hoping she would play rook g8, allowing knight f2 mate, but she unfortunately didn't. Unfortunately, I believe she played d4 pretty soon. She plays d4, and I immediately just played checkmate, and I stopped the clock. Here, after the game, I got really annoyed at myself, because instead of this boring queen mate, I could have gone for something beautiful. Queen check, rook takes, knight checkmate, and it's a smothered mate instead. It would have been beautiful, but I forgot all about it and just played mate in 1. But yeah, hope you have a great day. Goodbye.